I'm moving, I'm moving, I'm moving, I'm moving, I'm moving, I'm moving.
What's poppin', guys? What's good? What's good? All right, let's get into Monday Night Raw for April the 10th, 2023. This was a lot better show. For the most part, this was a mixture of both Triple H and Vince. It was maybe about 85 to 90% Triple H and 5 to 10% Vince. That's what I got out of it. So we kicked the show off with Rey Mysterio, which is always good. He's still wearing the Latino World Order t-shirt, the LWO. So he talks about how this has been a crazy year. Fans chant Rey. He talks about his ups and downs. Rey also mentioned about how last week should have been a dream come true with his Hall of Fame induction, and to compete on WrestleMania. So he then gets rained on by a "You Deserve It" chant. And then Rey continues on and says, on top of that, to compete at the biggest WrestleMania of all time. But instead, he had to face his own son. So the fans start to boo. Rey really wanted things to be different. Then out comes Dominik. So Dominik does his usual shtick. He talks about how he's sick of hearing Rey and how he's a deadbeat. Dominik says that the Judgment Day is his real family. Rey says those idiots are using Dominik. Dominik says Rey is the only one using people because he's selfish, just like Bad Bunny. Dominik then says he would have won at WrestleMania if it weren't for Bunny attacking, for Bunny sticking his nose in Dominik's business. Dominik says Rey is using Bad Bunny just like he used his own son. So then Dominik then shows us footage of what happened last week at WrestleMania Night 1 when Bad Bunny got involved with the Judgment Day. So the two continue to bicker back and forth. And then Rey proposes a WrestleMania rematch for tonight. Dominik says he won't fight his father, but he knows someone who will. Then we hear Finn Balor's weird, stupid-ass music play. So then we get our first match of the night, Rey Mysterio versus Finn Balor. Finn Balor wins via the coup de grace. This was a very decent opener for the show. So Dominik gets involved. He gets the chain. He hits Rey with it, and then that allows Balor to hit. I think it was it the 1916 or a sling blade? I'll just say it was the 1916, and then he hits the coup de grace for the 1, 2, 3. Moving on. Well, actually, no. Before we move on, I see that this is going to set up a tag match between the two parties, Damian Priest and Dominik Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio and Bad Bunny. And I do think that in due time, sooner rather than later, Santos Escobar will probably turn on Rey, which makes sense. And then we probably will see Dominik join the Latino World Order, which would make sense. I don't think that Dominik will probably be able to lead his own faction. He's not ready yet. And I do think that Damian Priest should be involved. Like, I don't want to see Judgment Day split up. I really don't. I don't, because they're a good faction, and just breaking them up would be a travesty. So I really wouldn't break them up. But, you know, I've been hearing people online talk about, you know, how there's a possibility that Dominik could join the Latino World Order when Santos Escobar turns on Rey. It's just something that's very plausible. All right, moving on. So, earlier on today, Kathy Kelly was interviewing the Alpha Academy backstage. So, Maxine Dupree, she interrupts. So then one of the cameramen, he runs around the corner. He hears some screams, and Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, they are tending to Lita. So she's down and hurt. So Adam Pearce and officials, they come over to attend to Lita. So Becky has this look on her face like, we know that, I mean, she knows that Liv Morgan and Raquel didn't do it. Well, she thought they did. So then in comes Trish Stratus as well. So Lita's trying to get up. And then Becky Lynch is suspicious of Liv and Raquel. And then we didn't go to commercial. That's fine. We all know that the heel turn was coming. It's a no-brainer from Trish. Like, who really cares? It's not really that important. Moving on. So, Byron Saxton, he's backstage with Becky Lynch. She's holding both title belts. She says Lita is in a local medical facility. So that's a Vince idea right there. And she has no idea who attacked her, which we all know. But she has her suspicions. And when she finds out who it was, she'll stop their heads off. Becky says she's promised fans a title match tonight. And just when she was about to go at it alone. So Trish had an idea. So Trish and Adam Pearce, they appear. Trish says they made a great team at WrestleMania, so why not tonight? So Lynch says that the match is happening right now. So Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus versus Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Liv Morgan and Raquel win via a roll-up. Makes sense, but this match was way too long. This match went on for about a good 15 minutes. So, you know, actually about a good 17, 18 minutes. This was a very long match. It was solid. I'm not going to hold you up. It was solid. Like, it wasn't 5-star or anything like that, but it was solid. It was like a solid 2-3-star match for the women. So I'm fine with this, but what pissed me off, and I'm talking about I was pissed off, that they did a stupid-ass shitty heel turn. Like a real shitty heel turn with Trish Stratus. So, post-match, Raquel and Liv, they celebrate. So, Lynch, she's disappointed. So, she helps Trish up, raises her hand. Then, Becky has some words for Trish. They hug. And then, Becky Lynch goes to leave. And then Trish just decks her. And then she drops Lynch with a chick kick. And that was it. Trish Stratus dips out. And she got some boos, but I'm just like, this is so stupid. This is so stupid. All this could have taken place at WrestleMania. Seriously. This all could have taken place at WrestleMania. But it makes sense. But they could have done the heel turn way better. I feel like that heel turn was rushed. I wanted it to be a little bit more, have a little bit more beatdown in it. A little bit more. That's what I would have done. Just a little more. Moving on. Kathy Kelly, she's backstage with Paul Heyman. She asked about what happened with Brock Lesnar last week. And if he has any insight to Brock Lesnar's actions. Heyman says he can, but he wants another question. He calls Kevin Owens a problem, but says he also has a problem because Sami Zayn is not here tonight. That being, and Matt Riddle is also not here because of all the flight delays. So Heyman then jokes that Sami and Riddle caught a later flight because of Solo Sikoa. Heyman says Kevin Owens has no allies and fewer friends. He has to face the Enforcer on one leg, and the Usos are here. And then Paul Heyman mentions that they need to follow the orders of Roman Reigns, and that is to end the Kevin Owens problem. Okay, pretty cool stuff, but we've seen that 1,000 times. I mean, this is fine. So Byron Saxton, he is trying to talk to Trish, but she just ignores him and walks off. That was kind of funny, though. So Dakota Kai and IYO Sky, they're waiting outside of Adam Pearce's office, saying Bayley has been there for a long time. So Bayley comes out and says Adam Pearce wanted to discuss the WWE draft. So she says Adam Pearce offered her a triple threat spot tonight to determine the number one contender to the Raw Women's Champion, Bianca Belair. And when she becomes champion, she'll have more leverage. And then IYO Sky interrupts and starts to speak Japanese. So Kai says what she means is, what about us? And then Dakota Kai said it should be one of us in the triple threat. So Bayley says she can go talk to Adam Pearce to see what he says about one of them taking her spot. Okay, who really cares, though? Again, I'm not excited for this draft at all. It doesn't make any sense. There's no need for it right now. Moving on. Bobby Lashley versus Bronson Reed. Big, meaty men slapping meat. Oh, let's go. This match was good, but right call here. It was basically a no contest. So they got counted out as a double count out, which actually made sense. And then they continued to brawl at ringside. And then they're separated by security and officials. So I do like this. This actually makes the most sense. Wise decision here. And I want to see more of this. I really do. I really do want to see more of this. I say make this be a good feud. And I think that Bobby Lashley should go over in the first one, in the first match. Second match, you have Bronson go over, and then the third and final match, you have Bobby go over. That's kind of what I would do because why? Because Bobby Lashley kicks major ass, and Bronson Reed is not as over as Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley is still massively over. Still massively over. Moving on. So Cody Rhodes is out next. He's smiling. So, oh God, why? Oh yeah, that's a Vince McMahon thing right there for sure. He's a smiling babyface. Damn it, Vince. God, I hate when he does this whole smiley face bullshit. I mean, Cody was selling his ribs a little bit, but he was out there with a suit smiling. So Cody asked the Seattle crowd what they wanted to talk about. So he goes on about WrestleMania, about the WrestleMania 39 loss to Roman Reigns. And he says that he takes full blame. He praises Roman and says that the loss is on him and that he's sorry for that. Cody says he's learned two things after the loss. He talked to his friend Matt, so obviously Matt Jackson, and asked if wins and losses even matter at this point in his career. Cody says absolutely they do. What was the point of stealing the show if you don't walk away with a prize, because they're prize fighters? The only ones saying wins and losses don't matter are Hall of Famers and others who haven't finished their stories, which is true. The second thing is that he heard from Paul Heyman, who said if Cody Rhodes is to challenge for the title again, he must earn it. Cody says this refutes his whole career, his whole life. And then he talked about the all the stages of his career, being an EVP, Stardust, Dashing. And then he says, earn it. He says, I am it. Facts. Cody says that his now unfinished tale has a new wrinkle to it. Brock Lesnar. So Cody talks about how embarrassing last Sunday and Monday were for him. Cody wants someone to tell him why Lesnar did what he did. He heard on SmackDown how Lesnar was upset over his whole WrestleMania spot, which I don't believe at all. Which Cody almost can understand. His other theory is that Lesnar is uncertain about Cody. The hype that comes with him, the change he brought to WWE, which directly impacts Brock Lesnar, not really. Why else would he wait to get the drop on Cody when his back was turned? So Cody knows that Lesnar's listening. He asks, why would Lesnar ever be uncertain? He goes on about Lesnar's achievements and dominance and how he's a predator, and how when he sees a predator, he looks in the mirror. Cody admits that he's a little bit scared of Lesnar, and he'd be crazy not to be, but he still wants to fight Lesnar. He goes on about how next time he'll make Lesnar look in the mirror for the first time to see prey, not predator. Cody's prey, and at that, Lesnar will also see a victim. Cody's victim. Cody says it can be anywhere, any place, anytime, but he knows Brock isn't here in Seattle tonight, so the fans boo. Cody challenges Brock Lesnar to a match at Backlash, calling it WrestleMania Backlash, which is a Vince McMahon idea. Cody tells Brock to answer the call, and then he tosses the mic, and then he dips out. So that's okay. I still don't like it. I still do not like his explanation. I just don't. But, Cody's a champ because he cuts great promos, always has. And, I'm fine with it, but it sucks because this is his second feud that he has to carry by himself. He has to do all the work. And we probably won't see Brock Lesnar until the week of Backlash, the go-home show. That's just how it is. This sucks. That's why it would have made more sense to have Cody go over last week at Mania. Would have made the most sense. I don't know why, but I'm still thinking that Endeavor had the call for that. I really do. Moving on. Next, every damn week, Chad Gable is always wrestling. So, it's the Usos versus the Alpha Academy. A really good, solid match here. Nothing really matters in the match. The crowd was heavy into this, though. There were some good spots in the match. And Otis did the Caterpillar in the match. In the end, the Usos, they win with the 1D, the one and done. So I'm fine with that. Then we got the triple threat match for the number one contender to Bianca Belair's Raw Women's Championship. So, IYO Sky versus Piper Niven versus Mia Yim. But they're calling her Michin. Just call her Mia Yim. Please. Like, who gives a shit? IYO wins via the moonsault from the sky. 1, 2, 3. She pinned... who did she pin? She pinned Piper Niven. So... That's fine. So, post-match, IYO and Dakota Kai celebrate, as does Bayley. So, she's not excited for it. So, I do see a turn. I do see Bayley probably turning on Damage Control, which makes sense. I don't know. They may turn on Bayley. Who knows? I think that what Bayley's going to do is probably revert back to being a babyface. Because she's been heel for 3 years. So basically since the pandemic, she's been heel. And it's time for her to be a babyface. That's just me. Next, Kevin Owens. He's backstage with Byron Saxton. So Byron asked about facing Solo tonight, all things considered. So Kevin Owens talks about how he's not very smart. But he's wise. He often leads with his emotions, and they get the best of him at times. Tonight, his heart says he should beat the hell out of Solo for what he did on Friday. Sami Zayn and Matt Riddle aren't here to do that, so it's on Kevin Owens. Owens says maybe he shouldn't compete. His leg isn't even close to 100%, and they know that. But all he cares about is revenge for what Solo did. Maybe this isn't the wisest decision, but okay, because he's Kevin Owens, and he just keeps fighting. Like it says on the back of his T-shirt, and then he asked Byron to read the back of his T-shirt. And then Owens heads off to the ring. So then the main event, Kevin Owens versus Solo Sikoa. Solo wins via the Samoan Spike. Post-match, Solo and the Usos, they beat down Kevin Owens. And then Sami Zayn and Matt Riddle, they come out and they make the save, basically. And then the show goes off the air. So, that makes a lot of sense, I would assume. So, I assume that Backlash is going to have probably 6 matches. So, we've got 2 tag matches, which is fine. You got Cody and Lesnar. That's fine. And then we need, maybe 3 more matches, and then we're set. I don't think that Cody and Lesnar will main event. You could probably put that in the middle of the show. I wouldn't main event with that. I really wouldn't, because there's not going to be that much of a story there. It's just not. But Raw this week was fine. So, before I end the video, I want to talk about AEW real quick. So, last week, Tony Khan went into his I have a major announcement bag, and he talked about doing a show at Wembley Stadium, aka All In, that the Bucks, Cody and Kenny started. And Wembley seats about 90K people, which obviously won't happen. So I do think that they'll probably get out about between 30,000 to 35,000. That's actually being generous, and that actually will be a good crowd. I've heard people say ridiculous numbers like 45, 50 people, 45 to 50K. No, that's not going to happen. No. Most of your crowd is going to be coming just from the UK. You'll have people coming in from the US and Canada. Not many, but you'll have a good little bit of people coming in from the US and Canada. But ultimately, it's going to be just for the UK crowd. And international travel would be extremely expensive, especially around summertime, and especially with the current economy that's out right now. So, I don't know. Then also, All Out is the next week, is the following week. So if I was Tony Khan, I would just make this be like a Forbidden Door type of thing. That's what I would do. I wouldn't have any of my major stories play out here. I just wouldn't. I would just book this as a Forbidden Door and, just go all out for that. That's really what I would do. And then have your other stories, your main stories concluded at All Out. That's really what I would do. Seriously, because it makes the most sense. But I do think that they will be able to get a good crowd out with at least a good 30 to 35K. So, thank you guys for watching. Please hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe for more videos. What did you guys think of Raw? Raw was okay for the most part. It could have been better. Cody's explanation, not so much. It's weird as shit. Raquel and Liv winning, who cares? It doesn't mean anything. The tag titles have been dead for years. The Usos and Chad Gable match, that was solid. The Usos and Alpha Academy, that was solid. Everything else was just okay. All right. I'll see you guys later. Peace.